Breaking news right now at 5 o'clock. An armed man running right through the Walmart store on the outer loop. As police arrive, he races outside and jumps right into a car driven by a woman picking up her prescriptions at the drive-thru. What police did next certainly saved lives. Hello, everybody, and we have the new information now on this breaking story we've been following today. I'm Doug Proffitt. This all happened about 1 o'clock today. On the scene, Isaiah Kim Martinez, chief photojournalist Philip Merle, and photojournalist Jessica Farley. And Isaiah, this shooting first began as a chase involving Kentucky State Police.
Well, Doug, this all went awry very quickly. You're exactly right. This was a case about a suspended license and an expired registration, according to Kentucky State Police. And then it ended up turning into a police chase on foot, both inside and outside this Walmart here near Fairdale. I do want to step out of the way and show you what we're looking at right now. This vehicle, this dark colored van you see there, you can actually see some of the bullet hole markers that investigators are marking at this time. They are processing that van. That's where it all came to a head, right in that spot, still parked at the pharmacy drive-through here at this Walmart. Again, you can see the bullet holes through the windshield in this video we have for you a little bit closer. That's where LMPD says an officer fired his weapon and hit the suspect. Police tell us the man had carjacked and attempted to kidnap the driver, a woman who was waiting in line, and then shortly after this all happened.
Obviously, she's shaken up. To have somebody armed with a gun jump in your passenger seat is not the way that you expected your day to go when you left the house this morning. And so we're handling that as a very serious situation. Our victim services unit is already working with that woman to make sure that she gets taken care of.
Chief Paul Humphrey tells us this all started when Kentucky State Police was pursuing two suspects, actually, in a car. They had arrested one when the other ran off, and he became the center of all this. Meanwhile, we also talked to a shopper who was inside with her son when she saw police rushing in looking for the suspect. She says it's scary to have something like this happen so close to where she was.
You know, innocent people being in. Like I said, it seemed like it was like mainly older people that was shopping, and it's crazy. It really is just crazy that something like this could happen that fast.
Police taped off this entire Walmart parking lot early this afternoon. We're told the store is closed at this time. There are still cars here in the lot, Doug. We are still seeing police tape. There are cars, again, in the Walmart parking lot. We don't exactly know who they belong to. And as for the suspect at this time, police tell us that he is the only one who was injured through all this, and he is expected to survive. Doug.
Well, and he had been shot several times. Isaiah talked to the police spokesperson and also told me that when they got there, this man was still inside that store. Those officers were able to spot him first on surveillance cameras, and then he races outside about the same time the police are getting there. It couldn't have been better timing and a faster move to save this woman in that car.
Well, Doug, very much so. It was actually an off-duty officer who was available for Kentucky State Police to reach out to when the suspect first ran on foot inside the Walmart. So you can imagine, right place, right time as far as response is concerned. And inside, something the spokesperson said, Doug, from LMPD, Walmart is huge. The fact that they were able to get him and contain him, at least out here, so quickly and not hurt anybody else, that is truly the big takeaway here, Doug.
Spotting him on those cameras certainly helped. All right, thank you very much. More local news here tonight at 5 o'clock. A report from the U.S. Department of Justice says too many people who need mental health care in Louisville unnecessarily end up in hospitals or jails. And it's placing the blame right on Kentucky state government. So our Ian Hardwitt tracked down Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who was in Louisville today, with more on how he plans to move forward under the federal government's watch and where else people getting mental health treatment can go.
That said, we are reviewing the report because we hadn't heard from the DOJ in over 11 months. An entire General Assembly session went by in that, where we even tried to create one of the teams that they have suggested in the report.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear believes the state's priorities will align with a Department of Justice report calling for top-to-bottom improvements of mental health care in Louisville. The federal findings put responsibility on the Commonwealth for bridging gaps in care. The report calls for more community-based support for people in a mental health crisis, like what's offered at 7 county services. Instead, the report says thousands end up in hospitals, then back on the street.
25 years, we called it the revolving door, which makes it sound better than it is.
Dr. Sheila Schuster of the Kentucky Mental Health Coalition says the state budget has money set aside for supportive housing, but requires approval from federal Medicare and Medicaid. That would provide a recovery space for people satisfying 2 crucial needs: a home and medical treatment.
People go in the hospital, and then when they get out, they don't always get connected to the community resources. And we've known that that's a flaw in the system for a long time.
It's why the DOJ says Kentucky's use of psychiatric hospitals is unnecessary. However, the report did acknowledge the city's expansion of a deflection program, now providing 24-hour emergency mental health services. Responders prioritize community centers over hospitals when connecting people to care. In Louisville, Ian Hardwick, WHAS11, on your side.
Well, the governor pushed for state-funded intervention teams, which was recommended by the report in the legislative session budget, but it wasn't approved by the Kentucky General Assembly. In a statement, Senate Republicans did say that the governor's office failed to communicate Louisville's needs to them and that the General Assembly did give funding to mobile crisis centers. We've got that heat wave still in the grips of Kentucky, and take a look. It looks like a southern sky, so hot out there with clouds starting to pop up. And as you just heard Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine report moments ago, somebody out there is getting rain. They're probably the lucky folks, Ben.
Yeah, very, very lucky. Yeah, this is in northern Clark County, about 20 miles to the north of Louisville. A towering cumulonimbus cloud growing big enough, as you can see, to produce actually a pretty good downpour off to the north there over parts of southern Indiana. We do have a couple of the showers and thunderstorms, nothing severe with that. Today's high, 99 degrees, one off the record of 100 set back in 1953. And tomorrow's forecast, 99. That would tie the record of 99, also set back in 1953. Right now we are at 98 and it feels like 100. The humidity, not as bad as it could be, down to 31%. So the heat index is not much higher than the actual temperature. So it is 90s across the board. You factor the humidity, it feels like the upper 90s and low 100s. So take care over the next several hours as that high heat continues, unless you get lucky enough to get one of these showers or thunderstorms. There you see around Henryville, some heavy rain, very slow movers here. They just kind of got to wash themselves out and then they'll fall apart. Southeastern Lawrence County, northwestern Washington County, another shower there, and a few here in southern Jefferson County in Indiana. That's about it. Over the next few hours, a couple of these showers will be possible, mainly southern Indiana. After sunset, we are mostly clear and warm. Lows will be in the 70s and our highs again tomorrow, topping out in the upper 90s. So the low tonight, 76 degrees, already 93 at noon like we were today and yesterday, and 99 again that forecast high. We've got some weekend changes that we need, some rain and temperature relief. We're going to time out coming up.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. Well, today, smoke could be seen for miles. We have an update after that fire last night at a vacant home in Louisville's Portland neighborhood. Caught on fire Tuesday evening last night. One woman who lives right next door says the fire spread to her house and she lost everything. This fire, though, was centered right in the historic district of the town center of Portland, just to the west of downtown. Today, she talked to Gabriel Gonzalez and photojournalist Emma Gefter about her loss and what she believes started the fire.
This is the aftermath of that fire. Glass on the sidewalk along with some shoes. The lady who lived in this building told me LFD had to spray so much water that it filled up her basement, causing dirt to rise up through the sidewalk, spilling over into the road. This is a predicament that she says she never thought she'd find herself in. Hundreds of gallons of water later, this is what Stacy Johnson's house on Portland Avenue looks like Wednesday.
Now I have absolutely nothing and nowhere to go.
Tuesday night, Johnson says she heard voices coming from the vacant property next door. After going out on her back deck to verify, she saw a wall of smoke. She believes squatters lived in the vacant property next door. This comes as a new error for the Portland neighborhood is in the works. Katie Delahanty, the executive director of Portland Museum, says this neighborhood is no stranger to fires like this.
We've been enduring fires to the point where I believe we lead all the neighborhoods and the amount of fires that we're having.
She hopes the city will take action and find ways to help the Portland neighborhood prevent tragic events like this one. In the Portland neighborhood, Gabriel Gonzalez, WHAS11, on your side.
Well, as for Stacy, she has received some help from the American Red Cross as she begins to look ahead to what's next. So the big question tonight, was Shaheen's damaged? This locally owned department store is now fourth-generation family-owned, and it's been around since 1922. Well, the good news, the owner of Shaheen's didn't want to talk to us on camera, but did say that the only damage they got was to a storage building out back, and they are open still in the Portland neighborhood. Moving on here with more news for you tonight here at 5 o'clock. Right now, Louisville Metro Police are working to figure out who shot someone in the California neighborhood. Police say it happened at about 7 this morning in the 1000 block of Dixie Highway near the California Park. Officers say they found a man suffering from several gunshot wounds, and he died at the scene here. As of right now, police say they have no suspects. Anyone who can help detectives can call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD. And in southern Indiana, the Floyd County coroner needs your help finding families for more than a dozen sets of cremated remains after a New Albany funeral home was shut down. Spring Valley had its license suspended after an inspection found blood and fluids on different surfaces, containers of medical waste, and the cremated remains. Some of those remains date back to the 1970s. We've posted the list of names on our website. Just go to WHAS11.com on your screen. You see some of them right there. John Miller, the Clarksville, Indiana police officer and Clark County council member arrested and charged with felony conflict of interest in the Jamie Knoll investigation, is now asking for his trial to be moved right outside of Clark County. According to Indiana State Police, Miller received thousands of dollars in gifts from Knoll and voted to approve several funding requests for his nonprofit fire and EMS service. He pleaded not guilty Monday of this week and posted a bond of $3,000. This newly filed petition says this case has generated significant prejudicial publicity and claims Miller will not receive a fair trial in front of an impartial jury in Clark County. Well, after Jamie Knoll pleaded guilty to 27 of his 31 felonies, Judge Larry Medlock in this case said he wants to hear from Clark County residents, anybody impacted by the theft of Jamie Knoll. Instead of calling by phone, they've switched that now. You can fill out this online form at the link you see on your screen. Again, that link is ripleycounty.gov/prosecutor. The deadline to fill out this form is coming up. It's going to be Friday, September 13th at 4 p.m. The staff at Louisville Metro Animal Services prides themselves on being our city shelter, and it says yes to every animal that comes through its doors, and sometimes that means it gets animals with serious medical needs. Today, WHAS11 is raising money for the shelter to help them meet their mission of caring for every animal, and Shay McAllister is heading up our telethon live on location tonight. Shay?
Hey, Doug. Well, the staff here in the Metro Animal Services Vet Clinic are incredible at working with the hand they are dealt, but they are seeing literally thousands of animals every single year. So yeah, new equipment would make a big difference. Metro Animal Services faces chronic overcrowding, making quick but careful care an important part of this operation.
An agency like this, we're already stretched to our limits, so anything we can do to speed up the services that are effective and efficient without taking away the care and the level of service we want, this will only help us improve that.
For many animals, that care starts here in the clinic. Sometimes it's a simple procedure like a spay or neuter. Other times it's more serious, like when Freedom came in the day after 4th of July with burn marks on her legs.
We are assuming because of the events of the day of July 4th that she got caught up with some fireworks. We're not sure if that was accidental or on purpose. She was found tied up to a pole.
She received 24-hour care until she was ready for adoption. A huge success story for this little clinic.
She is one of the dogs that really inspires me in the work that I do, just seeing how resilient animals can be.
But staff admit care could move more quickly. They could help even more animals if they had access to new, updated equipment And that's where your donations come in.
We are looking to use this money towards our veterinarian department to help upgrade some of our equipment, like our surgery packs, our enclaves, so that way we can address the surgery issues a little faster.
One of the biggest needs right now is new surgery packs. That's the instruments that are used in the operating room. They spend a lot of time stopping work to sterilize and make new ones. The shelter knows where they want to order from. They know how big of a difference they'll make. They just need the funding.
The staff cares. We pour our heart into our animals and our community. If you give part of this, you're giving you something much bigger than yourself, and you're also impacting your community. That's why we call it Your City Shelter.
Well, Doug, I've spent a lot of time here over this year featuring the at-risk dogs every single week that need to be adopted. So I can tell you firsthand, the operation here at Metro Animal Services is unlike any other. The people who work here care so deeply for these animals. They will do anything to make a difference in their lives. I myself am a huge animal lover, so I'm so thrilled to be here with them. I want to make sure you know how to donate. You call the number on your screen. You can also scan the little QR code and donate online. We have raised several $1,000s already, and WHAS11 is matching donations right now up to $5,000, so it's a great time to call, Doug.